Joining us now to talk about Lisa Marie Presley's career and life in the public eye is music critic and pop culture expert Craig Seymour. Craig, when you're the daughter of the king of rock and roll, I'm sure it's incredibly difficult to pave your own path. Do you think Lisa Marie was successful in being more than Elvis's daughter?
Well, I think she was always Elvis's daughter, and that was key to her identity, and I think that's something that she embraced. She was never trying to not be that or to a lot of times somebody from famous families, they try to distance themselves from that. But I think she was incredibly successful in forging her own identity and really becoming a very meaningful figure to a certain generation, especially during the 90s. She had so many iconic moments. She worked with so many incredibly creative people. And I think she really was able to make a unique contribution as Elvis's daughter and also as herself.
She released several albums. What was her career success like, and how was she received?
Well, I think that she was always credibly received, I think, as a musician, but it didn't necessarily translate into public success and public sales. But I think that more importantly, she just was embraced by so many creative people. And during the 90s, she was on the Vogue cover. She was married to Michael Jackson and had a notable MTV Music Awards kiss with him. She was in the You Are Not Alone video. She later was friends with Janet Jackson and showed up at her Velvet Rope release party. It's just, there were so many really iconic moments throughout the 90s that she was a part of that was really just about her. It wasn't something that she was getting because she was Elvis's daughter. It was something that she was getting because of who she was, which included her background as being the daughter of Elvis. I mean, in the days before social media and people sort of manufactured being interesting, she was truly interesting. She was a person that, you know, you wanted to watch. Like Barbara Walters used to do this special, The Most Fascinating People. And she definitely was a fascinating person, whether you followed her music, whether you really followed the particulars of what she was doing in her life. She was just interesting to watch.
The Presleys have had an incredibly difficult last few years with the death of Lisa Marie's son. How do you think the public will mourn her?
You know, I think that is really to be determined. I think it's such a singular, in the same way that Elvis was sort of a singular figure in pop culture, and whether you liked his music, whether you liked what he represented in terms of race and everything like that, I mean, in terms of how people saw him, he occupied a singular place in pop culture. And I remember when Elvis died and how that was kind of unprecedented, and the way that people reacted to that. And when Graceland became a sort of place that people would make pilgrimages to, there's such a connection to just her being a figure that has always been a part of our lives. So it's a loss, and it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how people react.
Thanks so much for joining us, Craig Seymour.
Thank you.